Hello and welcome to our session of Inspiring Individuals. Today we have the great fortune of having a very seasoned developer and entrepreneur here with us, none other than Tan Sri Lim Hock San from LBS Bina Group. Tan Sri Lim is the Group Managing Director of LBS Bina Group Berhad, which was listed in 2002. Welcome, Tan Sri. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Tan Sri, for the audience's information, could you share a little bit about LBS's beginnings when it first started? I know it was in the early 60s when it first started.
Yeah, I think just look at I came back from the university in 1982 and helping my father, By the time I came back, I graduated from University of Wales Institute of Science and Technology with the first class honour in civil engineering, and then the university offered me the grant to further my study with PhD. So I declined. I just want to tell you that I declined, want to come back to help my father. He told me that he only studied until standard 3. And he need me to help. I can see, but he never say anything, So I think I decided to go back. Just imagine if I stay back to take PhD, today I may end up to be a lecturer.
Very different,
or
yes.
Maybe a consultant, or came back 3 years later, what will be LBS? They will be different. So I think I make the right decision. So when I came back in 1982, it was a very small contractor, but LBS, sometimes they call it Syarikat Pembinaan Perdagangan LBS. We have built the China Embassy in Jalan Ampang, built by my father in 1978. And after seeing this, I told the old man, my father, that we need to restructure and transform, because as a contractor, sometimes you will met out not a good client, the client that will not pay you money, and that will be a problem to the contractor. So in 1992, we restructure and transform LBS into the development company. And my father is a chairman, MD, and my other 3 brothers is a ED. And from then on, this is how LBS moved on.
Right. I have to commend you and also your father, Tan Sri. The reason why is because you mentioned your father only had up to standard 2 or standard 3 education.
Yes.
How did he have that foresight to send you for tertiary education at a point in time where maybe even his business needed help?
I think my father always say, no matter how difficult he is, he makes sure the son go overseas. So that like me, make sure I send me to overseas, so that with the knowledge I have, I can be help him or for my better future. I think this is how difficult it is, whether he raised money from my education. I think I really respect him. This thing.
Wow. Okay. And I understand you have other siblings as well who also were financed by your father to actually go and study as well. So he must really have worked very, very hard. Hard work was his ethic, I think.
Yeah, I think so. You see, when I went to UK in 1978 or 77, I did my A-level, second year A-level strict, so the second year A-level. And 78 university, I think I know it's very hard. So I think that time financial quite tough for him. And he find a way to raise money for my education, but he didn't say, because from my other sister who told me how hardship the father had done. Because always he say, if I don't have the good education, I make sure all my children, of course the boys can go to overseas to study. Because I have 11 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
I'm number 5th in the family. I got 4 sisters before me. So I'm the 5th. So no matter how, you make sure all my brothers, of course my younger sister also study in New Zealand. But I think it's okay for send her there. So I think this ultimate aim that all my children must go to overseas to have education, and that's it.
Wow, okay. So education was a cornerstone of your father's belief, I
Yes,
take it.
yes.
Actually. Dato Seri, I just wanted to also ask you, you said you did civil engineering and you did very well. Was that something that you had a lot of passion for? Or was it something that you were driven towards because of your father's business?
Actually, when I was small, in the primary school, I thought to be the teacher in 1965 to 70. And always see the teacher, they can guide, you know. When I went to secondary school, then my father started his own construction arm. You know, at the time, you don't have many job offer, electronic, mechanical, these things. So I decided to take civil engineering, and the passion I see. Sometimes during my younger, before I went to university, my father said and took me to the construction site. Then I can see, from there I start to have the interest on the civil engineering.
Right, okay. And how did you feel when you had to turn down the offer to continue your studies? When you had to come back, or you wanted to come back?
You see, when I have first class, get a result, first class honor, I think that my class only got 4.
Wow,
and 2 Malaysian and 2, one the British, one the Kenyan, another guy from other country. Then straight away the next day the professor called us, say, you want to continue your PhD? After this, immediately I told him no, because I need to go back, because I think he need people to help, because otherwise he always rely on people, other people who know the construction knowledge. So I went back without no regret going back.
Well done. Was it a difficult decision to make, to say no?
No, straight away I said no.
Wow.
Because my wife was with me at that time, and I spent a day to decide. I told to my wife, my wife agreed with me to go back to help my father.
Well done. So upon arriving back in Malaysia, Tan Sri, how was the transition from academician or studying and looking at potentially a career to be an academician, because you said you wanted to be a teacher when you were younger? How did that transition happen to going out onto the field now to actually start building? How was that transition for you? Working out in the sun and working in the rain?
I think when I went back, I'm helping my father, and there's different we learn from the university, And I can see that whatever we learn from university, I don't think we apply, because we are on the construction line. But of course, we know the foundation. This is few things. I think what I can see from the university, they help us to learn the basic thing, and maybe in the university in UK, they ask us how to mix with people to decide practical things. I think in UK,
Right.
practical things. So whatever we learn from the university doesn't apply in this book unless I become the consulting engineer. That I do the design using the books, but still apply a bit because sometimes when you talk to this consulting engineer, they are talking about this thing. We can answer them this way. This is different from university.
But now working onto the field, was that difficult for you when going out to the field?
I think so. Normally when I went for the site visit, I wouldn't go for detailed thing, because a few things I wanted them to know, as far as my job concerned, how fast you can go in. And of course I say you must look into the safety. Also the most important now is the cost saving. So the field, I think I can be very experienced now, look at this. But because I don't have time, I spend every week I spend the site visit for 1 to 2 hours, and spending at least half an hour or 1 hour with my people on site to see the few things that concern especially the safety. Then I spend another half an hour, have the tea, coffee with them, chit chat with them. Because on the site I'll be very strict. Sometimes even they don't do things right, I can tell them off. But when come for the coffee and tea, I make them more relaxed. It cannot be too tense, So over the years, my people know my style of working already. So whatever thing I I'm asking the same thing, you know, it's very simple. So these people know what my stand.
I understand.
And that's the thing.
Dato, I just want to bring you back to when LBS first started, or Syarikat Perumahan, from the 60s to up to 1997, because I think 1997 was a turning point. Something happened,
Yes.
the Asian financial crisis. But before 1997 happened, what was the philosophy of your development, or your father's philosophy for the development? What was he trying to achieve between that period?
I think when we was we wanted to transform into the property development because we feel that we are capable to do it. But from the zero land bank in 1995, 93, today we have less than 4,000 acres of land bank.
Wow,
It's
congratulations.
like grow.
Well done.
And the first project, of course, we had a project in Ipoh, but the first project, very successful project is in the, in 1992, the Malaysian Thomas Cup Malaysian player won the Thomas Cup. We are lucky to join venture with them, 10 players, together with Miss Poon. And because the Selangor state government offered them, each of them 5 acres of land in Bukit Sedang Industrial Park. So we join venture with them, 10 of them. And we also join venture with the Pesaka and also the Penulis Kabena. So we 70 acres of industrial park, and we are fast to develop. From there we go on buying the land bank. You see, we started a land bank in Bukit Sedang, then we start to acquire buying land, and then we even went to this Pelakong. All this is thing how LBS grow and all this thing.
I see. In 1997, the Asian financial crisis happened, and I realized and I noticed through reading some of the materials that it was a conscious decision to go into affordable housing.
Yeah, you know, there's always, I always tell people, there is a very good decision we make. In 1997, the financial crisis, every time we go to the coffee shop, they say, oh, this because I see you at 5, means $1 5 ringgit. No, see you at 5. Even I went to the Ipoh office, we got the Ipoh office. One old lady came and see us, cry, wow, worried. I said, don't worry. 明天会更好 tomorrow will be fine. So we bought a piece of, 2 pieces of land in Bukit Sedang. And at the time we were thinking of going for selling around 180,000. 180,000 at the time is quite high end, medium high end maybe. Then because we borrow money from the bank, and very fortunately bank never recall our loan. And we also worried, what shall we do? If we continue to do a medium cost housing, can you sure that the houses can sell? No? If the house cannot sell, in the end of the day, go to Leilong, go to the bank will go foreclose your property. So I make a very fast decision, but of course with the support on the 3 brothers and my father. Say, why don't we go for affordable range? So I simply say that if suppose your profit is, say 10 million, I don't know what, I don't want to say the profit. Why don't we take 5 million profit by going down the selling price, by doing the house the people can afford, the bank can afford to keep it. So we change very fast. And because of this, the house sold very fast. Then because of this, the Selangor state government look at us, you're doing a lot of the affordable house. Then they invited us to go do this, to joint venture, to do the state government project. Like one of the project we have today is Bandar Sarjana Putra and other project. So why not you come do it? So since the company are doing this affordable range for these people, medium range people can buy house. That is how LBS did.
So it was a CSR by default in the end. You just fell into that. Well done. Well done. Now in moving forward from 97, post the affordable housing range, and now with the interest in high-end properties, how is LBS re-strategizing? How is LBS coming together as a group to fulfill that need?
Actually, I always say LBS is, somebody told me, not say, I never say that. One of my friends say LBS is a champion of medium cost housing. It's not me to say, because somebody told me, one of my good friends. Actually, LBS policy always do the medium cost housing, no matter how, No matter how, we also want to do medium cost housing. But because of this, in few years ago, everybody went for high-end. But even go for high-end, we still do a middle-cost housing because I believe the majority of the people who wanted to stay, buy the house to stay, affordable range, you know. For high-end, normally people who buy to stay, I think some of them will buy for speculative investment. There's a difference between medium-cost housing, this and that. So LBS has been doing middle-class housing from day one until today. We have built more than 30,000 houses. I think most of them are middle-cost housing. And then we feel that very happy. And people can own the homes. But of course, as the listed company, we also build some high-end. But today, I think high-end a bit tough because the bank and government, bank, the ruling, borrowing, not easy. So we have to go on the smaller scale, the price. So we are more emphasized on middle cost housing. So when this thing, the sudden turn on the market, we still can achieve our target.
In a percentage, affordable housing versus high-end, what would be your components be?
They never be the component, but I can say today we have 80 to 90% go for the medium cost housing. But in terms of the value I'm talking. So high end you still have, we cannot go for big scale, it has to be smaller scale.
Boutique kind of thing.
So I think the houses around 500,000 can be easily sold. And bear in mind, LBS has achieved sales for 1.238 billion, 1,238 million. In actual fact, we sold more than 2 billion last year. Wow. But because of the cancellation, 40%, we had a net sale 1.2 billion. So because of this, I think close to 800 million, around 800 million, they cannot get the loan. That's why there's a problem.
That's really, something you mentioned very curiously when you're in 1997 when you built affordable housing in Bukit Sedang. What was affordable range at that point in time?
Oh, that time still, you see there are many types. That time we built a double-story link house in 18 by 60, smaller unit, we sold at 135,000.
Wow, okay.
And the 800 square feet, we sell around 80,000 to 100,000. Wow. Even this is the range we are selling, Wow. We don't build small, bigger units, Then we even, the Vista Pinggalan in Pinggalan Putra, we launched 1,000 over unit, 998 units, I still remember, 15 years ago. So at 100,000, 1,000 square foot, 800 square foot, 850 square foot, selling 100,000. Wow. Today, easily, these are 400,000 to 500,000.
So your properties are affordably priced. You sell them at a price where most people can afford, and you also help families that buy to make wealth from them as well.
Yes.
Well done.
You see, I think most of the buyers are happy. Because they bought at a price of 80,000, today 300,000. Actually, the appreciation of the property, I think most of them are happy. Many of them, I can say.
Well done. Well, and 30,000 properties plus and counting to date since you first started. Wow, that's quite a lot of properties you've delivered to the market in a very short period of time, I have to say.
That's why the state government, that time the Selangor state government are happy with us that we are the developer. Of course, when we do the development, we also must see our profit because we are the listed company. The shareholder must know that the company must perform well in order to have their dividend pay, the profit, all these things.
But how do you balance between shareholders, because you're public listed, and the needs of the society and also the company's direction? How do you balance all three?
I think so. We still build an affordable range, but nowadays we look at the profit margin.
Okay.
Technically, we look at the 20% profit margin, but sometimes you may not achieve, worry about the cost of material go up. And that's why today I'm looking at the cost factors. And there's a rule and thumb. You see the cost, the piling cost. Sometimes the cost, we know the construction cost, how much we build.
Right.
So that's the thing we should know. I'm very strict on that.
Okay. Outside Malaysia, Tan Sri, Are you focusing anywhere? I know you're doing a lot of work in China. What is the focus of what you're doing in China in relation to what your business is in Malaysia?
Actually, I don't say I would like to do business in Malaysia because Malaysia is a country that we know people well. You know? Any problem we have, we will solve ourselves easily. Because your friend can help us to solve our problem. But as for China, Zhuhai, because when we in year 2002, we took over the listing status. LBS is not direct listing. LBS is a reverse takeover, RTO. And because in year 2000, Tanah Hatta at that time, this Instant Green who owned the project in China. And they went insolvency. Insolvency means we were invited to bid for the company because at the time our land bank only 400 acres of land bank, but not qualified for the listing. That time I think I was told the time listing was 1,000 acres you can list. Yeah. So what we do, we went for bidding. I think 8 or how many of them, we were the best. Then because of this, we saw this company had 3 projects in China: golf, property, and resident secure. That's what we have today. And at times, still remember I think I still had a meeting with my brothers, the management, that shall we continue to invest, because the previous company, they had not complete their investment. At the time during the 1993, they signed an agreement with the Chinese counterpart, in the government body, that they need to complete 71 million. Total investment is 71 million USD. But today you feel it's small number. At that time, very big figures. They need to have to complete the investment another 25.4 million USD. I think equivalent to 100 million ringgit. So I was asking the management whether shall we continue. Nobody there to answer this thing because this is a very big amount. Then I made a decision to go ahead. And then go ahead. I think the bigger challenge is the thing has been delayed. When the money put in there, they delay our approval. I think by a certain factor I don't want to disclose here. So somehow the family, the brothers are supported me. But because of this cash flow, because 100 million put it there with no return, it's a very strict, very cash flow problem to the company. And year 2012, that we managed to sell the golf and property for 1.65 billion Hong Kong dollars.
Wow. Okay.
But luckily the 500 million immediate payment and 300 million worth of the share, the listed company in Zhuhai Holding, and they give me the 4-year installment, the 250, 200, 850. Otherwise, the deal to outside people is not a good deal. But to me, it ended up to be the good deal because that time the ringgit was strong when we signed. I can still remember 1 Hong Kong dollar, 41 cents, the ringgit. Today, I think 1 Hong Kong dollar, 55 cents. Over the year, I think we make again. And then how many million, I don't know. We went from the forex, this and that.
So it's a double.
So we still own one more piece of land in the resident secure that people have been talking about, the resident secure, the internationally like Sepan one. Then we want to transform the circuit into this tourism, the theme park, factory outlet, or maintain the circuit. But put in Malacca Cultural Center and the Trade Center in there.
Oh, it's putting the Malaysian flag right there.
Because I'm the president of the Malaysian Guangdong Chamber of Investment Promotion. Means that association was formed in 2008. They advised by the CCPIT, Chinese Council Promotion Investment Trade Guangdong. They want to sign the MOU in year 2008. And the purpose of this is to exchange the flow of information or promote the trade between Malaysia and Guangdong. So in year 2008, we might hold a meeting once a year, either in Malaysia or in China. And the time we signed, I still remember 2008, we signed the MOU witnessed by our Prime Minister Dato Seri. He was then TPM. Then also the China Vice Premier, the Wang Yang, who was then the Guangdong Party Secretary. So that is thing we signed. Then also indirectly, I also help indirectly, not directly, help to get the things. We directly help the Malaysian, Malacca and Guangdong, the friendship province and state, the Malacca state and province, the relationship both.
Well done.
Then I managed to, and we went to see the Malacca CM, Dato Idris Harun, and our tune that putting this trade or whatever the culture center in Zhuhai, our circuit there, a portion of land, is partly to let them know what the information center there, so that the people in China, because this is tourist spot later on, China, they know more about Malacca. Of course, we put in Malaysia. So this is to help to promote the Malaysia and the China relationship.
Well done. Well done.
This is the thing we do.
How is that progressing so far, Tan
I
Sri?
think we have submitted early this year, and we are pending for the approval to start with.
So if everything goes on track, when will that become operational?
I think
If everything goes on track, all the approvals are on time, when will groundbreaking happen and when will it be delivered?
I think so. I think quite soon. I think very soon they will get approval, I was told. And when the approval, then we think of how we still had not planned for that. We have to think of funding. There are 14 projects on this area. This is 265 acres of land in the racing circuit. The track already there. Then we want to do maintain the track. Then we do the office, the race office. Then we have to do the theme park, factory outlet. So some of the project we will not, because this investment quite a huge.
Yes.
So in order to reduce against high risk, high gain, so we had to balance out. So some of the project we may join venture with people, operator like theme park, the theme park or this thing. So they talk to us how to the return to the group. And to me, it is a long-term investment, long-term benefit to the LBS.
Well done.
So I think this is good for the company. You cannot run away one.
Okay. That's why I also know that from reading your profile, you are very active in NGO work. You are president of many associations as well. You have philanthropic works as well done. And knowing that you're a group managing director, it's a full-time job in itself already. Maybe on the lighter side, how do you manage your time and how do you manage your stress?
You see, I'm holding the 27 association. And I act as the president, some are vice president, I'm in the honorary life advisor, some honorary, the chairman. Everybody wanted to invite me to be this. And currently I'm sitting on the president of the Federation of Malaysia Lim Association, and I can tell you that I was told there are 800,000 Chinese bearing the surname of Lim.
Wow.
And Lim, and the association I think it's very active. We have more than around 74 branches throughout the country, And the problem now is most of them have their annual anniversary dinner and the Mooncake Festival. They want president to attend over so I can say I took over as the president in year 2015, August 15. I have attended more than 160 activities, look like the politician. So of course I have to invited to give a speech, and then I have to sponsor them. But that is things that, and the purpose of this National Lim activities is to the bonding between our own Lim clan. So I think they look like my brothers now, the sister, this is thing. So that is thing. One day my PA asked me, Nancy, how you going to reduce your stress? But I only want to tell people, my working all on my mind. Even on the car I go, I already start to thinking, because I'm on strategy, So my working hour is a half day, the very solid half day in the morning. After the lunch, I think maybe getting old, you feel tired, maybe go for tea. The whole morning, I will not sit down in a meeting. I want to make decision, I just spend 10 to 15 minutes, tell them what to do, half an hour the most. This is thing. So to reduce the stress, how to reduce the stress? Reduce the stress means, I told my people, when I attended the meeting, the function, I feel very happy. You feel happy, we mix up with all the brothers, the limb brothers. And that is just the bonding we have. Then all my stress will gone. And that is how I reduce it. Fortunately, once I told all the members, you should be thankful to my Puan Seri, my wife, who never complained, because most of the function on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but she never make complaint. If the wife start to complain, I don't think I want to can go, because the lady nagging at home, they cannot go.
I'm very happy that you brought this next topic up, which is family, because I would like to ask questions closer to home. How do you train your children, or what kind of legacy do you wish to impart to your children, knowing from your history, your father literally worked very hard to support all 11 siblings, and now that the business has gone bigger, economically I think the family has done better. How do you raise your children? What values do you impart onto them, and how do you foster their growth?
Actually, when we were small, brother among brothers. The father was very strict, honestly speaking. No joke, there's no joke for him. I still remember one of my sister who, I think is very scared, because when he came back with the report card, the result was not good. So I think she remember, I don't say which one, she immediate the signature of the old man. But signature, I think all this standard one, she was caned by my father. He said, if you cannot achieve this result, just tell me. No, because sometimes when we are small, we are worried about his coding, So I think because he worked very hard, we brought out 11 siblings, all these things. Then we make sure the children will behave well, we strict. I still remember when they were young, my sister, we cannot simply have girlfriend, the wife cannot simply have girlfriend during my schooling time. My sister also cannot have boyfriend. Why they have boyfriend? Old man want to come back, see, okay, this is your boyfriend, you're happy, married. No, don't be for. I think 7 of them they are quite okay, their married life quite good, very good.
Okay.
So I think this is brought out, you see, I think sometimes when we grow bigger, I think old men will not do that. So similarly, I adopt this policy, these are all the practice to my children, I tell them when they were small, I'm very strict to them. I'm very strict to them. Everywhere go no, but sometimes the mother also there. So I think this is thing we want to build out to them. So I want to tell them, and today they are quite okay. My son, you must learn to be respect the old, elderly. You must learn to be humble. You learn to be helping people. Don't make life difficult for people. This is thing. Even though you are good in your career, good in your smart fella, if you lack all these few things, to me, you are failure in your life. To me, it's simple. Simple to the younger generation, they should possess this sort of thing. Respecting the old elderly, and the humble, don't be proud, humble, don't be selfish, all these things you must have. This is thing I tell my son. Even today they work in the company, they must also work under one of our ED, 2 ED, different their job. They also go through the normal clocking hours, like you have to start with 8:30 until 5. No, you cannot. You also go through a KPI. This is thing they should learn from the beginning. If they want to be a successor, they must learn this basic thing. Even the younger generation will start their work, they must have this type of thing. Otherwise, you go and, so what? You are smart. You are smart, you be proud, your life will be failure. Then I'm not speaking. This is the
Understood. Tan Sri, in relation to wealth building and with your children, how do you help them, or what kind of advice do you give to them with regard to how do they build not just their careers but maybe their wealth? Wealth may not necessarily be money, but personal wealth. What do you impart upon them?
I always have now. Last time when small, I'm very strict with them. When they grow older, we grow up, then sometimes I think we like brothers sitting together, but maybe I'm a bit strict time. Sometimes they have some even that. But I will advise them, few things, and the basic thing I tell them, you should I don't simply give them money to spend. They don't sit on the fancy car. They don't have this sort of thing. They have their own family, and they also start to work. That's the topic. They have to start to have their own saving. They have to go through this sort of process. You don't simply spoil them by giving them money. They want how much they want. So if they want to invest on anything, I can advise. If the investment is good, then I can about this. These things should learn to be there. Then also, I also want them to be involved in this. When they grow further, sometimes I can give them an opportunity to meet up with the people that he can participate. Over the time, I think they need to learn. So it cannot be overnight one. They need, to me, you give them time over the years. They learn. So I think you should put the input. Input must give them good input, but it cannot be overnight one. It used to be taking time, to learn. I can tell you today, tomorrow you forget. So you must tell them this is the thing. I think over the years, when they grow older, they know what the company wants.
Understand. Tan Sri, despite the fact that you're very young still, what legacy do you wish to leave behind? A, for your family, B, for LBS, and C, for Malaysia?
Actually, I think I'm enjoying my work now. The way I look at the way I work, I think LBS has been doing quite well, but we don't compare with other people. And I think LBS can be doing better. And you can see today, LBS have two listed companies, LBS and the listed company NL Global. And LBS market cap today 1.3 billion. Imagine that we have in year 2007 is a big challenge that our share was at one time 22 cents, today $2.04. I think more than 35% are institutional fund. So that is thing that. So what I can do, this is company level, performance cost. We make the company, then LBS grow as an international level. It's a China project. But for Malaysia, you see, I'm more actively involved in, just I mentioned, CSR, I mean the NGO. I also NGO, and so I think I want to help because if I go to China, I will talk good about Malaysia. I feel upset if someone go outside talk bad about Malaysia. Because this is, it's no point telling them, because so I think always tell the Malaysia is good. So I also hope, because when I went to, when earlier this year, I was invited by the Chinese government at the recommendation by the Chinese ambassador to Malaysia on Hui Kan to attend the Liang Hui. Liang Hui means the CPPCC, Chinese People, Political People Consultative Conference, and National People Conference. It's a very high level meeting. Now, of course, we are not Chinese. We were just like observer, and there are 2,000 over delegates for each party the different. Then only 38 representatives for 30 countries, the Chinese. So we will attend. We went there. We listened. We went to attend, and then we every day, all the time, 11 days there. You can see that they have everything been programmed all the time of food. The morning, afternoon, the dinner you got to with the Chinese high level. And in the meeting, I can see, of course, as a Malaysian representative, we talk about our Chinese education, the policy, Chinese education culture. But of course, you talk about One Belt, One Road. When we talk about that, most of the officer, I think almost officer, they recognize the relationship between Malaysia and China is good, definitely. Or One Belt, One Road. And that is thing you have to recognize it, you have to be sure. So I think it's just the things that, to me, very simple. If relationship between China and Malaysia is good, it's good for country because they will invest a lot in Malaysia. In Malaysia, then the economy will be helping our economy to grow. And today, this year, I was told there will be 3 million tourists coming in. So definitely will help on tourism spot. So what I want is Malaysia to grow better, to go stronger and stronger. And in fact, early this year, everybody talking about GDP of Malaysia, less than 5%. Even early this year, for January, I say Malaysia economy will be more than 5%. I'm the first one who say, I think I'm the first one, but after that, maybe too early I would say. So I think they say we want the Malaysia to be better. Then of course at my level I will see what I can do. But of course we want, as a Malaysian, we want to tell everyone Malaysia is good. Don't go outside, talk bad about Malaysia. That is very bad. We are telling back, slap our face also. This is what I can say.
Lastly, Tan Sri, if we had this opportunity for a time machine, if you could go back to the starting of your career, what advice would you tell yourself, knowing what you know now?
Actually, very simple. I should have spent more time on the property development at the time because I came back in 1982, so I think lapse of 10 years in 92. That is thing I should go on more on the properties. But I think one thing for sure, but no regret in life. One thing for sure that I think every development, because normally LBS, whatever we have, we finish off the whole 200 acres to develop the whole thing. I should have reserved 10% of the land bank in every scheme because we have developed the Melakong, we have developed the Sedang, every scheme we developed. We should reserve 10%, then there will be more profit to us. You know why? Because when we develop the area, new area, the houses are cheap because selling cheap. So if we reserve it for another 10 to 20 years, the land price won't go up. And that is the thing you should do.
Well done, well done. Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Tan Sri. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to the Inspiring Individuals series for this session. We had the great fortune of having Tan Sri Lim Hock San from LBS Bina Group. Thank you so much for tuning in and connect with us on our Facebook page, StarProperty.my, to be alerted for other great interviews. Thanks again, Tan Sri, for coming.
Thank you.
Wow, very inspiring